All right, so going back to where we left off. So when we have a service item, so we just entered in our first service item, which was our photo session. Now, not only can you are able to be creating these items that you sell, you can also link up other accounts. So such as if in case you do sell a service, what if you actually have an independent contractor that you contracted to be able to provide the service for another customer? So again, if you are in, if you do have that kind of thing, so what you can do is you can actually link other accounts or example, so we're going to create another service item, but we can also utilize it as a two-side item, which we actually touch more upon, I believe in chapter 9. But we're going to talk about a double side item, which allows you to link not only your service item, but it also, in another sense, you can link it to your actual independent contractor right then and there. So not only are you using the service item as just selling your product, but you're utilizing it as well as a dual way to also pay the person that you contracted. So how to do that is we're going to show you right now. So again, I'm going to go to the bottom here and go to new item. Okay. And this time I am going to create another service item. However, I'm going to click this button that says this service is used as an assemblies or as performed, right? So once I click this, now I can link not only a cost that it costs me to also provide for them, it also allows me to charge however I'd like. So in this case, I believe my item here is called a video photography. Oh, sorry, or a video photographer, right? Let's say I contract having a separate individual, so a 1099 worker who does, who captures videos for me instead of just take regular photo shoots. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and also right here, video photographer. So it's going to cost me to pay them off 95, is it 95 or 75? I think it's 75. They cost me $75 to have my independent contractor, it cost me, okay? $75 to have an independent contractor be able to provide the service for me. All right, so I'm going to use this account as service. All right. Now, the next thing is I can choose a preferred vendor. Now, if I have multiple 1099 contractors, you can leave this section blank. But in this case, in the example for the book, you actually have just one independent contractor, and that is going to be Wong and Son Video. Okay? So you actually contract them as a 1099 worker to be able to provide this video photographer services. So maybe they're capturing a video in essence of whatever the photo shoot is entailing. Grand opening. Excuse me. Okay, so with this being entailed, right? If I have an independent contractor, right, and if their services that they for me to for them, it's gonna cost me $75 to use them as a 1099 worker. However, if I want to charge my customers, I want to make sure that I make a profit out of it as well. So what am I going to do is I'm going to charge my customers $125. So not only do I get a profit out of it, not only do I cover my cost to get an independent, to pay the independent contractor, I'm also getting at least $50 out of it to be able to provide the service for my customer. So of course, with that being said, it should also be a service because again, services are not taxed. And of course, because this is my sales section, so as you can see here, sales price. So my sales section, then therefore, I'm linking my sales account to this. So as you can see, it allows you to link link up to 2 accounts, and this is what's called a two-sided item. And we'll talk more about what to use for when we talk in chapter 9, when we actually start having people assigned to a specific vendor or a specific 1099 worker to pay them off for their job. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. We're linking a service that we provide, but it's going to cost us to get a third-party vendor to be able to do the job for us. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And that's what you can do too. So instead of having to bill the or waiting for your independent contractor to bill you, it will automatically calculate the cost for you, and you just write them a check. So that's the great thing about QuickBooks. It allows you to link multiple transactions in one transaction. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. So there you go. I have my video photographer item right here for service. Okay. All right, so the next one, I kind of want to briefly go over them just because some of them are similar, but some of them are pretty tedious. If you can do one, you can pretty much do the other. So again, inventory and non-inventory parts, those are going to be something I'm going to save for the inventory section. Now again, the difference between an inventory part and a non-inventory part is pretty much how you're going to keep track of it. Now, a non-inventory part, they give you an example on how to create it. Again, if you learn how to enter in one item, you can pretty much do the same thing for every single item that's listed here. Plus, you have also the example on what to fill out. So for the non-inventory part, it's more, again, it's still an inventory part. You're still selling the item. It's just the way that we're categorizing it is based on how often you keep track of it. And again, I'll mention this in chapter 8. So I'm going to skip this one for now. Other things that I also want to see here or show you, they do have other charges. So I guess I can go over, I'll go over this one. Let's just go ahead and do it. So again, other charges. So what you can do for other charges is you can charge for, or tack on things on a sales form. So the most common other charges that you would often see is going to be shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Item again. I'm going to go ahead and click Other Charges. Now what I'm going to title this other charge is going to be for shipping. Okay, now you can have a standard shipping rate, which if you, if you're the one that's shipping them out, then, it just depends on how heavy the item is. But in this case, if you set a strict amount, whether it's like $20 shipping, boom, that covers for any, like if it's the item's super heavy, or if you're using FedEx or any of those other delivery services. If you have your own delivery service, you can actually, the cost of it would be a lot significantly lower. But in this case, we're just going to assume that when we charge our sales tax, it's just going to be, shipping fees. Usually, typically, it's going to be a standard rate, no matter where you ship to. Okay. So in this case, let me go ahead and take a look in the book. So we are going to be using it as shipping and handling. Okay. So that's going to be my description, is that this is going to be an item for shipping and handling. All right. Now it's going to ask me what cost am I going to place on it. It's going to be $8. And is it 865, 895, 895, and it's a service. So here you go, $8.95. And again, it's a service. It's not something that you can never tax on shipping. Okay, so just it's just standard wise. Yes, and it's gonna also be applied as a service account. So we're gonna locate that in service account. Now there's of course, all these accounts that you're associating or you're linking things with is going to be pertinent for whatever that you create the account for. So if you want a separate, let's say it's not a service that you provide, then you're gonna have to like locate it or categorize it in another location. So for example, this specific service that I am linking is pretty much, I actually have my own delivery company and it's going to be a service that I charge. Now you can also link it, for example, when we move into a coffee cafe, when we understood how our main operating business was to sell coffee and we deliver it on the side as extra income. Then if that's the case, then you can also place this as an other income. Things that's not part of your core business because that's not a service that you provide. Then you may do so. So again, these accounts are just going to be reflecting of whatever your company business wants to have the account for. In this case, I do have a delivery company that's part of my services. So maybe I have a third-party vendor that does this, etc., or I have one of my employees deliver it to you. So that's that. All right. So once I've created that, so there is my shipping, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So every time I do a sales form and it is for an online purchase, I can make a list of all of my of the items that they purchase, tack on this extra item, which we'll look into this in chapter 2. So next week on Monday, how to add or charge a customer a certain thing. So and how to create the sales form. So that is that, and I have that item there. All right. So again, all the other ones I'm not going to go over just because, again, as I mentioned before, if you know how to just do one, entering another item, whether it's a different type of item, they're all pretty much underlining the same concept and the same rule, okay? The only thing that's going to be different is what accounts are you going to be linking them and what prices and whether you tax them or not. That's the only difference, okay? Now, the one thing I want to definitely show you is going to be how tax works. So, if you guys understand how tax works, especially if we have a specific location. In this case, I'll let you guys know that we, in Academy Photography, they have 2 locations, one in Walnut Creek and one in San Jose. So with those 2 store locations, number 1 rule is if you set up a location and you charge or you sell a product, you are mandated to charge sales tax. Only exceptions are if it's if you're a mom and pop shop and you do a cash basis or cash only kind of business. Then there are some rules and some leniencies where you can not charge tax. But for in this kind of case, we do accept credit cards. We obviously accept online orders as well. So this one, we are subject to have to charge tax to our customers no matter what product we sell. Okay? And in this case, if you understand how tax works is you're getting taxed by the state and you're also being taxed by your local government as well. So any county that you belong to, that's the whole purpose of this as well, is that you're not only going to get taxed once, you're going to get taxed twice. But when just as a regular customer, we don't see where this tax is being broken up to. So you are being taxed based on state and based on the county you belong in or wherever your store location is in. So I'll give you a quick example. So in California, literally I live on the border between LA County and Orange County. It's literally one street over, you're in LA County, one street over, you're in Orange County. I went to the mall in the LA County, and it's literally right across the street, which is really ridiculous. I bought an iPhone, and they charge tax 1% higher. And and obviously you know the situation is, why the heck is this so expensive? So what happened is I returned it in a location in Orange County and bought it again, and tax was 1% lower than LA County. So believe it or not, I didn't understand why, and now I know why, because the state taxes you a separate one, and the county has free range on whatever they want to establish to set as their sales tax that they're going to be receiving. So yes, one goes to the state, and a portion of it goes to the county that the store is located in. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how you're going to be setting up, especially when you're calculating tax for selling your products. Okay, as you see, we do have out-of-state tax. But of course, this out-of-state tax is kind of vague. It doesn't give you a specific number or what the states include, because we do online shipping. So if we do online shipping, it could be anywhere in the United States. So that's just one tax, sales tax item. Now, what I'm going to show you is going to be the Nevada state tax item. So again, I'm going to go ahead and create a new item. And what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and create a sales tax item. Okay, I'm going to name this one Nevada state tax, or Nevada state, or actually Nevada sales tax is good enough. Okay. Description is obviously going to be sales tax, pretty straightforward. Now, what is the sales tax in Nevada? Last that I looked up, as of 2021, it is still 4.6%. Okay? Still 4.6%. And what local agency am I going to use? So in this case, you're going to have to actually do your research and actually make sure that you're linking the correct sales tax to the correct local agency or state agency. And in this case, this is obviously fictitious. So I'm going to go ahead and say State Board of Equalization. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, that's just only doing Nevada state tax. We also need to include a separate item, okay, for the purposes of doing the county, the Clark County. So here I'm going to go ahead and write Clark County sales tax. Okay, description, pretty straightforward, it's sales tax. So that should fill in, there you go. And for the 2021, I just saw this news recently that they actually increased it by 1/8 of a penny. So the new county tax in Clark County is actually 3.78%. It used to be 7.5, but then again I said they increased it by 1/8 of a penny. So it's now 3.78%. Okay, same thing again. If you, this is fake, so I'm just going to go ahead and put, again, the state of equalization, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, here I have, not only do I have Clark County, I have Nevada State, and now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and create another item. But this time, instead of selecting a sales tax item, I'm actually going to create a sales tax group. All right, and in this case, I'm going to name this as Nevada, Clark County sales tax. Okay? Description, sales tax. All right, and then now this is where I get to choose which accounts I'm going to be adding together. So in this case, since I have my Nevada, okay, sales tax, and I'm also going to include Clark County sales tax. Once I've done that, now it's going to automatically calculate for me my actual sales tax, which is going to be 8.38%. Okay, and then I can go ahead and click OK. So that means every time I'm in my location, like, right, if someone from Reno decides to buy something for me, I have to create another sales tax group item, or a sales tax group item for the sales in Reno, because Reno's probably, I think the percentage there is a little lower than here in Clark County. So there you go. That's how you create it. Now, the reason why we create sales tax items in sales tax groups is mainly because not every state and local agency that you submit your sales tax to is going to be in the same location, especially in Nevada, or especially in California, where you have Northern California, Southern California, Central California. You have a variety of ranges of what counties you belong to. So your county is going to belong to a certain section of California, and obviously you kind of get the point that your county agency is not going to be where your state agency is going to be. So again, most of the I believe for that example, the state will be submitted to somewhere in Sacramento, while your county is going to be submitted somewhere in your county, a city in your county, like Anaheim. So for that kind of instance, that's exactly why you create a separate sales tax item. And then you would group them together, okay, when you charge your customers, okay? So that's just the only reason why. Now, if your state and your local agency are the same agency, or you can, easily, they can transfer the money for you, or, make it convenient for you, which in this case, it never happens that way. If for any reason that your state and your local agency collects, when they collect sales tax, it's all in one location, then you can just go ahead and create that one sales tax item and name it whatever the 8.38% is, okay? So you only create sales tax items if the agencies are separate locations and you need to pay more than one place. But if you don't need to, and you pay only and you only need to pay one place, then you can just create a simple item without creating the group item, okay? Any questions in regards to creating items? No. Okay, good. So, again, all the other items are pretty straightforward in regards to entering them, how to create a new one, etc., etc. So one thing I also wanted to do is, like, a good thing that you should do often too is print out your items list, okay? So what you're going to do here is you're going to go up to reports, okay? And you're going to go to list. And then it's going to give you options. You want to have your accounts listing, okay? So list of your accounts. You want your item prices. You want your item prices or your item listing. So again, this is good business practice, especially if you are the accountant and you need to see if you have multiple accounts, or you want to double check how many items you actually truly sell, or maybe you're thinking about maybe creating bundles. Okay, so that's always good to double check and make sure that your items are there. So by clicking the items list, as you can see, here it is, and I can just simply print it right at the top of here. I can either print it or I can save it as a PDF and send it to other people. Okay, send it to your accountant, whatever it is. So this is pretty much a overview of the exact details in regards to what those items are, What do they contain? What do they do? Okay. So that's that. And you can print it by the print button up there. Okay. So that's how you print out your items list. Okay. Now again, the next sections talk about the terms list. So again, since both of you have been in accounting, except for Nadifa, you need to understand that when you sell an item to a customer or you purchase items from a vendor, what they usually do is they give you what's called terms. So a little review, of course. Terms are basically an incentive to pay back, or if a customer wants to take advantage, they can get a discount. So with that being said, oftentimes this only really truly applies for customers or vendors who have like a relationship with each other. For example, they want to strike deals, or I'll let you owe me this for this long, but if you don't, if you can pay me earlier, then I can give you a discount. So let me find that terms list. Where is it? Others list. Template. What the heck? I thought it was here. Hold on. Chart of accounts, items list, price levels, sales tax, payroll, class list, other names.
Customer vendor.
That's right. Customer vendor, and then terms list. There you go. Thank you. Had a brain fart right there. So here are pretty much standard things that you can have incentives for. It's like typically 1% 10 days, the net 30, or you can do 2% 10 net 30. Or if you don't give terms at all, at least you can establish a date where the bill is due or when the customer needs to pay it by. So usually net 30, net 60, net 15. So these are without discounts. Okay. Now, of course, we can obviously create it by doing a new or right-click new. So that's pretty standard and straightforward. Once you get to this page, so now you get to choose what you want to name this item. So oftentimes what you'll normally see is maybe I'll do 5%, okay, comma. Actually, there is no commas in this one. So 5% if they pay within 15 days. If not, they have to pay in 30. Pay in full in 30. So that's what you're going to do. That's the title of it. Okay, you can always change the title whenever you want. Now, this is where you're going to actually fill in. It is net due in 30 days. Okay, the discount percentage is going to be 5%. 5%. And the discount paid within 15 days. All right, that's all you have to do. Pretty straightforward. Click OK, and there you go. You have the option for the 5%, paying 15, or net 30. Straightforward. Easy. Okay. And then we'll also talk about when we start billing our customers, or when we look at vendors, if they allow us these kind of discounts as well. Okay, so that's the terms list. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay. So let's see, let's move on to the next section. So the next section is going to be looking at, let's see, price levels. I already explained it to you, so this is definitely more towards looking at your customers at a more divided perspective, like, oh, these are my commercial customers, these are my veteran government customers, these are my retired customers, or sorry, seniors. So those, this is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna go over it. So you guys pretty much go ahead and read upon this. Again, the price levels is pretty easy. It's not very common that we use it in this class just because, again, most of your customers they're practically going to be commercial. So they're going to be, especially they're all going to be regular sales anyway, unless you're that kind of person that likes to break it down and say, oh, I'm all for, giving the seniors their discounts. So, I mean, if you're like that, then, this section is for you to read upon so you can enter those in. So again, straightforward. This is entering in another list. So just exactly how we've seen it before, you're just going to go to list, and you're going to get the drop-down menu down up below, and you're just going to enter it in just as which we've been doing. So it's pretty standard and straightforward. Rinse and repeat. Okay? Next section here is going to be custom fields. Now, this part is actually more pertinent when we actually start setting up our customers and our vendors. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and show you this today just so then we can kind of, rule this part out. Okay? So, custom fields is actually geared towards making extra information, especially when you learn about something about a particular person. So I'm going to go ahead and close all my windows so then I can go ahead and talk about this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my vendors, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and set them up. So I'm going to go ahead and click a new vendor. Now what's going to happen is once I get to this window, you're going to have this little section called additional information. Here, under this additional information, you're going to see that there are custom fields right here. So for now, my custom field is I wanted to enter in what county they belong to. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and click define custom fields. Now, QuickBooks allows you to have a total of 15 customizable fields. Okay, so any information that you find pertinent or find interesting or, things that can help you, build your relationship between either your customer, vendor, or employee. So as you can see, there's a bunch of different things that you see here, and you can either check mark whether that's something that you want to know about the customer, to know about the vendor, or to know about your employee. As you can see, the employees have all of these checked marked. Okay, so with that being said, so again, we use custom fields in regards to making a better relationship with either our with the people that we that are part of the business. Okay, whether they're customer, vendor, or employee. So these kind of information, again, they're useful in an aspect of building your relationship. Okay, so definitely things like spouse's name. That's definitely necessary, especially if you have your employee. You also want to make sure that you treat your employee and kind of ask them about their personal life. Obviously, hey, how's your wife doing? Right? That's always a conversational starter. So that is one thing that I would like to have there too. Now, for any reason that you come your vendor, okay, they invite you to a company party because they're saying, hey, I'm gonna invite all of my best customers to come to my party, or even someone who's having a grand opening. It could be like, hey, I'm having a grand opening. I would be honored if you can come and, celebrate with me. Always a good conversational starter are things that you pick up when you talk to the actual owner or anything like that. Because that's, again, it's not only a good business practice, but it's going to heighten up your relationship. And it's also going to, there's a lot of benefits when it comes into being in these relationships with these other companies. Because, again, if you're the greatest customer, they can give you more discounts. Or if you're a family friend, you can obviously be invited to all these exclusive parties, especially if, so this company, right, it's an Academy Photography. If you are working with the owner, they can get you backstage passes to all the things. So you get fringe benefits out of it. So with that being said, there's also things that you want to also know about the company or know about your customers or even know about your employees. So that's what the custom fields is for. So spouse's name, department, title, and then it says review dates. I don't know what that is, but you can even have things like what are their hobbies? Okay? You can also have if they have pets. Okay? And then you can even say, especially when you're doing your vendors, you can say date, or what do you call it? Establishment date, right? What day did their company? When were they established? So I think it's establishment date. Okay. And of course, now looking at this, there's a few rules that you can have. You can have a maximum of 15 custom fields. Now here's the catch. Each person, so every customer or every vendor or every employee, you can only have 7 out of those 15. Now wait, let's do the calculation. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. Well, that is exactly why they have columns here. So one custom field doesn't apply for one specific person. It can apply to all 3. It can apply to just one. So that's why you can mix and match the 15 available options, but that's all you can do. You can only choose 7 out of those options. Okay, so that's the rule here. So for my customers, let me see. Do I want to know what county they belong to? Yeah, that'd be great. So I can send them some discounts or something. Do I care for their spouse's name? I mean, that could help you, strengthen your relationship. Department, that would not apply to them. Do they have a title? Obviously, they're a customer, so no. Review date? No. Hobbies? Yeah, maybe you can interest them in taking a photo shoot with their favorite sport. Find some kind of marketing way. Pets. I mean, I don't think pets would be very pertinent to customers. An establishment date, obviously, they're your customer. They're not going to have an establishment date. But for your vendors, yes, I want them to have an establishment date. Okay? Yes, I want to know about their pets, especially for vendors. Yes, I want to know what their wife's name is or husband's name. Okay? And of course, for your employees, you're obviously going to have you're going to have hobbies. Hold on. Hobbies. You can learn about their pets too. See? So there you go. So out of the 15, out of the 2, 4, 6, 8 that I've created, only 5 of them can apply for a vendor. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then it's going to give me this notice saying, yeah, because you made these changes, I'm going to click OK. So once I've done that, now when I go into my vendor's additional information, boom, there are the extra stuff that you can fill in. Is it mandatory that you fill them in? No, it's optional. Okay, so again, it's just there just in case you pick up that information. You had a phone call with them. Oh, you're from this agency? Okay, cool, So that is exactly what we use this for, is custom fields. So again, you can create a total of 15 custom fields. However, when it comes to applying it to a vendor, customer, or employee, you can only choose 7. Okay, 7 for each one, so they don't have to use the same one. They can use different ones, okay? So there you go. Any questions in regards to custom fields?
No. Nope.
Okay. Last but not least, it's going to be, let me see. I think the last section that they talk about is customizing templates. Okay, so modifying sales forms and templates. So again, we talk about what you can do and customize QuickBooks, right? This part or this particular section is actually geared towards your actual physical company. So, of course, when you create sales form, you don't want the basic blank page that you send out to everybody because people are they're not gonna remember, they're not gonna associate. Nothing pops out to them. They receive a standard invoice that has no information about your company. They're not gonna remember you. You're not gonna stand out, and you're gonna be easily forgotten. So one way that QuickBooks allows you to do is you can customize your sales form, your sales receipt, your invoices, your statements. Okay, you can customize them so then the customer knows who you are. Okay, and how do we do that? It's gonna be pretty straightforward. You're gonna go back up to your list, and we're actually gonna be looking at templates. Okay. Now the general rule of thumb here is usually when you do invoices or things like this, they generally say you should make a copy of it. So then, in case when you if you're building it from scratch, you tend to forget a lot of stuff. So there's often times where you might forget the total balance at the bottom, or you forgot to have a description box, or you may forget to have the shipping address, things like that. So that's why they generally recommend you to just use a standard template that already exists and then customize it based off of that. So for example, we have all of these different types of templates. We have invoice templates, we have credit memo templates, we even have sales receipts templates, estimates, even sales orders. Okay, so again, this is going to be something that's worked more geared towards chapter 2, which is next week. So understanding these types of forms. Now I'll explain the difference between an invoice and a sales receipt in chapter 2, but for this case, I believe we are going to make a copy of an Intuit. What do we do? Product invoice. Yeah, let's go ahead and do an Intuit product invoice. So I go ahead and right click this, and I'm going to actually create a duplicate. Okay. When I find it. I should be able to. Yeah, there.
Price list.
Say it again.
Up. Duplicate.
There you go, duplicate. Okay, there you go. So you can't right click it. So in case now it asks you, well, what kind do you want to make a duplicate of? And I want to make a duplicate of an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So here you go. I have this one now. It's named as my copy of Intuit product invoice. Now, of course, if I want to edit it, I can edit it at any time by clicking Edit Template. So here I can retitle it however I want to title it, but it gives you an overview of what it looks like. So this is the standard basic Academy photography or the Intuit one. Okay, the basic Intuit invoice. Now, of course, I can change the title of it. Obviously, I can go to Manage Template. When I go to Manage Template, it's going to allow me to title it. So obviously, I'm going to say Academy Photography. Okay. Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and pull my window up and click OK. So, I saved it by, okay, so here we're back at the window. Okay, so what can you do to modify this? So as you say, I just changed the title. That's all I did. Okay, Academy Photography invoice. Now, if we go down to the bottoms, you can either choose to use a logo. Yes, you can add your own photo in here. So by clicking use photo, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and locate my item here. So if I go to the portable files, right, I'm going to go to any portable file. I have a logo here. It's going to give me this error message. You're going to click OK. So what you're going to see is, as you can you see that little Academy Photography logo? That's us. So there you go. And then you can actually change the sizing of it and stuff, but in this case I'm gonna leave it like that. So there you go. You can customize it by putting a logo on there. Pretty cool. Now other things that you can do is you can also select a color scheme. Okay, so if I go ahead and click select, so now it gives me a certain list of what colors you can do. Now I'm going to go ahead and say the company is maroon because the Academy Photography is actually I think it's red, black and white. I think so. So here you go. I changed my layout or my color scheme to be maroon, and I'm going to go ahead and click apply color scheme. Now, as you can see, all the boxes, all the text and everything, they're actually changed to the color maroon. Okay, I don't know if you saw that when I clicked change, but yes, there you go. I changed it to that color. Now, of course, you want to be careful on that kind of type of thing because it can be, hard to read. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to black to make it standard. There you go. It's basic, but, it gets the point across. Now, here, I want to be able to change my company name. I'm going to change the font for it. So if I'm going to go ahead and click change font over here, and it's going to give me this window. All right. I'm going to go ahead and select this one. I don't know. This one. We can do that one. All right. And I can change the size of it too. I want it to be pretty big and obnoxious. So I'm going to make it size 28. Okay, and then this one is also where you can also choose the color. So I'm going to go ahead and choose maroon since my color is maroon. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, because I changed the color right here, it says Academy. Well, it's because I made it too big. It changed it to the font I want. But it didn't absorb my color, did I? Okay, I didn't save the color, so I want it maroon. All right, and I'm going to click OK. Nope, it still didn't save the color. Okay, that's weird. It didn't change it. All right. All right, well then, if you're not going to, do that for me, then that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and change the title too. So the title is going to be, obviously, you see the word invoice right here. It's pretty small. So what I'm going to do is, instead of changing the font of it, I'm just going to change the size to it to also 28. And I'm going to click OK. So boom, I made the word invoice a lot bigger. So there's a lot of things that you can change as well as like font, text. So again, if your logo is a specific font, you can change the fonts for everything so it looks like it comes from your company. So that's what's really cool about it. That's that. Other things that you can include too, so at the very top, as you can see, Academy Photography, you can include other information. So let me change my company name real quick. I think it's too big. So I'm going to change it to size 24. Okay. Hopefully, actually, no, let's change it even smaller, 22. Okay. Still too big, but that's okay. So here it's going to ask you, well, what other information do you need that's part of your company? So we also obviously have the company name. You can choose, if you're going to choose a logo, you can also get rid of that. Don't ask this again. Okay. So there you go. If you're going to use a company logo, you don't technically need your company name because it's on your logo. You can include a phone number. You can also include an email address. And a company address. That's definitely something you need. You can also include a fax number if you'd like. Okay. And then go ahead, and then you're going to go ahead and do you want to put your website on there? It's up to you. It's not necessary. You don't have to. But yes, I want all of those on there. And then let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. So then down below, you can even change the layout design. And you can also do a print preview. So if you want to look at it into more details, you can view it this way as well. Okay. So here I have this. My company address is down below, or my phone number, my fax, my email address, and other things like that. So it's there. Yeah. So not only can you customize how your sales form is tailored to your company, that's like the most customization you can actually do for that QuickBooks can do for you and your company. Okay, but most oftentimes it's always easy to just go ahead and print the standard one and just tack on a logo and call it a day. Okay, so any questions on how to customize templates or forms?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
perfect. And I believe that is the last section in the book. So with that being said, let's scroll down to the review questions and Lego. So here you go. Select the best answer, okay, for each section, for each question. Number 1, okay. You can create a custom field for D. Yes, customers and vendors. That is true. Okay, so D is the correct answer. You cannot create a custom field for templates. But I do also, if you guys remember from chapter 12, I did also mention that you can customize your subtypes of accounts. You can only have the maximum of 5, so make sure that you know that items are only up to 5. Okay. Number 2, okay? The 2 types of preferences are A, user and company. Yes, user and accountant, obviously not. Favorites and general is definitely not, and income and expenses are definitely not. Okay. Number 3, okay? If you don't see the favorites menu, you can see, click the view menu. Yes, remember, we talked about this. If you don't see it, you go to view and you can toggle it on and off. Okay. Number 4, okay, which of the following is not an available template type in QuickBooks? C, yes, checks. Yes, checks are the only, I guess not, I shouldn't say that. Checks is probably one of the only forms that you can never modify. I know that your bank can modify it, like if they, you want to put your custom logo on it. Unfortunately, only the bank has the privilege and able to do that, but you can't physically do it because oftentimes if you're creating your own check, you're not going to get the sizing right. You're going to be missing information, and that's very, very important that you have everything. So checks are definitely one of the things that you cannot modify, especially if you're printing them. You got to print them on a special piece of paper.
Right, it's gotta be watermarked and everything.
Yes, correct. All right, number 5. If you pay sales tax to more than one agency, you should use what? A, sales tax group. Yes. 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 All right, good job, everybody. So again, the rest of the exercises below are pretty straightforward. It's just, entering in new items, which in this case, again, we've already went through 4 examples of entering an item. It's pretty much rinse and repeat. So again, there's actually more important exercises I'd rather go over than spend time on this. So again, if you guys don't have any other extra questions, you guys are free to go.
All right.
Have a good day, everyone.